Hello world, welcome to my channel. My name is Andy Silvers, and today we're going to be talking about theme. I have a series of videos planned for the future on literary devices, but today we're going to start by discussing theme, and we're going to use specific examples from my first fiction novel, Red Sprites and Blue Jets. The idea of theme is basically the overarching message or idea that a particular work is trying to convey. The theme of Red Sprites and Blue Jets is responsibility and maturity. Every single thing in this book, every chapter, ties directly into the idea of responsibility and maturity. Why is theme important? Why is writing with the theme in mind important? The main reason is just because it gives your book a level of intentionality and direction. It's difficult for people to write without introducing some sort of underlying moral, whether it's intentional or not. You could accidentally muddle the message. So the first half of the book could seem like it's about bravery. That may be the theme. But then the second half of the book, it may seem like the theme is more about picking your battles carefully. So if the theme is responsibility and maturity, which it is for Red Sprites and Blue Jets, then I iterate that theme by the character's actions, by the story. Everything ties into the theme. Everything leads the audience where I want them to go. Everything teaches the audience the lesson that I want them to learn as the writer. So the book stars a child, Cooper, who is 9 years old. So certainly the idea of maturity and responsibility is a perfect and logical storyline or logical theme to be associated with a coming-of-age novel. Every character and major plot point ties directly into the idea of maturity and responsibility. The dad exhibits maturity and responsibility by taking on the responsibility of making breakfast despite the fact that he doesn't like to and that he's not very good at it. Chapter 1 begins with Cooper walking outside in the middle of the night and believing that he sees ghosts up in the sky. But in Chapter 3, Cooper and Wesley engage in a ghost hunt at his house. So it's funny because obviously they're hiding under the bed and then they scare the cat. But in terms of theme, this ties into the theme of maturity and responsibility by just being a chapter-long demonstration of immaturity and lack of responsibility. In Chapter 4, which is called Cross Your Heart, Wesley refuses to help his sister by teaching her baseball. She's very much an athletic young girl, and Wesley's father, Jerry, wants him to help teach her how to play baseball. But Wesley refuses to do it because he doesn't really want to help teach his sister anything. He doesn't want to spend time with her or hang out with her. Chapter 5 basically serves as an illustration of the theme through the story of reckless Rodney, Rodney being Michael's college friend who wrecked his car and got them both hurt. This chapter serves as both a metaphor and foreshadowing at the same time, and I will do a future video on metaphors and foreshadowing, and I will talk more deeply about the idea of Reckless Rodney as a character and how that ties directly into Cooper and Michael in the present. In Chapter 7, Cooper urges his friend Wesley to ride his bike out into a storm. Wesley ends up falling over and actually twisting his ankle in the tire of his bike. In Chapter 8, Cooper discovers that his mom sold her car in order to help cover chemo treatments and doctor's appointments. This leads him to want to help make money for the family. But before he can do this, he must rectify his relationship with his friend Wesley. So he makes the decision himself to go over to apologize to Wesley and his dad for the trouble that he caused. And then after he apologizes, Wesley and his dad agree to help Cooper with the milkshake stand. In Chapter 10, we're introduced to the character of Judge Barry. Judge Barry is a metaphor for Cooper, what Cooper could become if he doesn't grow up. Again, I will cover Judge Barry more detailed in another video. Right now, just be aware that Judge Barry's character is incredibly immature. He still sort of lives in his own head. He lives in this sort of mental fantasy land. After his friend tells him that he thinks they should split the money 50-50, Cooper is really nervous that his mom won't be able to have enough money. And so, with the goal, with the good intention of trying to help her, he ends up stealing from his friend, which he feels guilty for at the end of the chapter when his father reveals to him that he got a promotion at his main job and will no longer need to work 2 jobs. This really impacts Cooper strongly because he sees his dad taking on responsibility. And he sees that his dad is earning money honorably, and this really triggers Cooper to change his mind about stealing money, and in the next chapter, Cooper does the right thing. So in chapter 12, Cooper returns the money to Wesley and apologizes for stealing it, and says that ultimately, if I have to take only half of it, I will, because I want to do the right thing. And Wesley shows a bit of maturity and responsibility in his character when he says, no, you can have all the money, your mom needs it. And then in chapter 12, you have Wesley, who's less responsible and mature than Cooper, still refusing to play baseball with his sister. And Cooper, being a fairly intelligent and much more responsible, mature child than he was at the beginning of the book, he actually sort of tricks Wesley into inviting his sister to come out and play baseball with them, which of course is incredibly meaningful to Wesley's dad, who wanted Wesley to help teach Logan, is the name of his sister, how to play baseball. Chapter 13 is a big chapter because we have the reveal of the dad, Michael's, sort of lack of responsibility and maturity in his college years. With regard to Cooper's mom, and the fact that his dad smoked, and the fact that his dad refused to put his wife's health and safety first, and now Michael believes that he is either entirely or largely responsible for his wife getting lung cancer in the first place via secondhand smoke. And so this really is a big moment for Cooper and his dad's relationship, because Cooper realizes that he's not the only one who hasn't put other people first and is in turn put them in danger and put them at risk. In chapter 13, we also have the reveal from the dad to Cooper of what red Sprites and blue Jets basically are, where he reveals that they are a weather event, that they're not ghosts, that they are actually based in science, which is, again, sort of serves as a metaphor for Cooper's character to a certain extent, as he goes from being an immature child who believes that these objects that he saw above the storm must be supernatural ghosts, and to the end of the novel, where he now knows, at least generally, what these objects are, what these things are, and it sort of acts as a metaphor for his character development and growth throughout the story, as it pertains to maturity and responsibility. Alright, thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos.